Who is Jesus Christ? Who is Jesus Christ? This question has been asked repeatedly for centuries, and it has also been answered. But both those who ask and those who answer are wrong, because the question arises from prejudice, and so does the answer. Essentially, they are not different. Their origin is the same. The question is raised by those who doubt the divinity of Jesus, and the answer is given by those unwilling to believe in the humanity of Jesus. They only want to believe halfway. The Jews are ready to accept Jesus as an ordinary man, while the Christians are willing to accept him as God. The Jews deny one half of Jesus, the Christ part, while the Christians deny the other half, the Jesus part. So, who is Jesus Christ? Christians do not want to see him as Jesus, the Son of Man, a flesh and blood being like any other human. The Jews, on the other hand, do not want to accept him as God, as divine, formed of consciousness rather than flesh. No one is willing to embrace Jesus in his entirety. This is not just about Jesus, but applies to all enlightened masters, Buddha, Krishna, Zarathustra. Until you allow Jesus, in his wholeness, to enter you, you will not be transformed. Until you accept Jesus as he is, you will not be able to approach him. Jesus is both Jesus and Christ, and he is unashamed of it. In the Bible, Jesus repeatedly refers to himself as the Son of Man, and also as the Son of God. He appears to see no contradiction between these two statements. There is no contradiction at all. The contradiction exists only in our minds. It does not exist in the being of Jesus. His being is united. He bridges time and eternity, body and soul, this world and the other. His being connects the visible and the invisible, the known and the unknown. He is fully connected, at ease with both, because he is both. Jesus and Christ are like the two banks of a river, and the river exists only when both banks are present. Jesus is the flowing river between those banks. Both banks belong to him. He exists between them. He is the river. Who is Jesus Christ, divine or human? I say that all questions are wrong, and so are all answers. Why? Because the questions arise either from Jewish knowledge, Islamic knowledge, or Hindu knowledge, and the answers arise from Christian knowledge. But knowledge cannot answer. Knowledge cannot even ask. Knowledge is impotent. Questions of such significance can only arise from innocence, not from knowledge. This distinction must be understood. When you ask a question born of knowledge, you are not truly asking because you already know. Your question is false, not real. Your heart is not in it. You ask merely to ask, perhaps to discuss, to argue, but you already know the question, so you already have the answer. Therefore, you do not receive the answer. You are not open to it. You are not ready to receive it. You are not willing to move, not ready to explore. You already have the answer. And the question arises from that very answer. The Jews already had their answer. They knew that he was not the Messiah, that he was not God. Why? Because they believed that when the Messiah came, everyone would recognize him, without exception. That was their idea of the Messiah, that everyone would know him. And if Jesus was not universally recognized, how could he be the Messiah? They already had a definition. They also believed, this was their knowledge, that when Jesus, the true Jesus, Christ, the Messiah, appeared, everyone would be immediately liberated. All past and present sins would vanish in that light, and this did not happen. If Christ were here, people would be free. They would no longer live in sin or suffering. So this man cannot be the Messiah. He cannot be Christ. This is not the one we have been waiting for. This is prejudice. They had never seen the Messiah. How could they define what would happen when the Messiah appeared? If, in the darkness of your soul, you imagine that at dawn, money will rain from the heavens, that everyone will become rich. And then when the sun rises, you do not see money falling. How can you accept that this is the sun? Because you were so preoccupied with money, you fail to see what the sun brings: light, life, ecstasy. You cannot see it because your eyes are entirely blinded by your prejudice, your ideas. And when you ask, "Who is Jesus Christ?" you already have an image of the Messiah in your mind. That is the obstacle. That is the disruption. This is why the Jews missed him. This very man was the one they had awaited for centuries. And when he knocked on their door, they missed him. They rejected him. Why did they reject him? Were they bad people? No. They were just like you, like Hindus, Muslims, Buddhists. They were prejudiced. And when Christians responded that Jesus is the only Son of God, once again, this came from knowledge. The Jews were greatly disturbed because Jesus claimed to be God, or the Son of God. For 2,000 years, Christians have defended Jesus, saying that he was God, that he remains God. They sought to eliminate all possibilities that might prove Jesus was human. This is why they claimed he was born of the Virgin Mary. That was the beginning. So they denied the human origins of Jesus to make him unlike you, to make him extraordinary. Even at birth, he was special. Then they tried to ensure that the life of Jesus left no trace of humanity. But Jesus was profoundly human, utterly human. He was a complete man. He was not a perfectionist. When it was appropriate to be angry, Jesus expressed anger. He drove the money changers out of the temple and said to them, "What are you doing in my Father's house, in my Father's temple? Get out of here." And he was so furious that he single-handedly threw many people out. Jesus loved humanity. He had friends and lived harmoniously among people. He ate with them, drank with them, and shared their lives. He lived as a normal person. He never pretended to be something extraordinary. Even when extraordinary events happened, he would always say, "It is your faith that has made the miracle happen. It is God's compassion upon you. It is something that occurred between you and God." He didn't even expect gratitude. When miracles happened and a sick person was healed, that person might want to touch his feet in gratitude, but Jesus would say, "No." When they said, "You are great, you are so kind," Jesus replied, "No one is good except God. Thank him. Forget about me. It was your faith that healed you, not me. And if you must be thankful, thank God. Forget me. Do not let me stand between you and God." This is the same message Buddha gave to his disciples. "If you meet me on the path, kill me immediately. Do not let me stand between you and your reality. Hold my hand only as long as you need support to walk on your own. The moment you can walk independently, forget me. Move forward. Do not cling to me. Do not attempt to be my shadow. If you see me on your journey, kill me immediately." This is what Jesus repeated time and again. Forget me. Thank God. Who am I? EP 1, EP 2. Christians have tried to erase all traces of his humanity, claiming that he was born of the Virgin Mary. He lived a life without any mark of humanity. Christians only speak of his miracles, not his ordinary life. They are afraid. Christians say that Jesus never laughed. Jesus never laughed. Then who would laugh? Laughter seems too human, too earthly, so they would not allow Jesus to laugh. But surely Jesus must have laughed. Surely he must have truly laughed. Jesus must have been a person full of laughter because he constantly said, "Rejoice, be joyful, celebrate." Such words cannot come from someone who never laughed. And how could someone who never laughed attend parties? How could he drink with others? How could he integrate so seamlessly with people? He was a sociable person. Day in and day out, he lived among people. He was not distant. Surely he must have laughed a lot, truly enjoyed life. But Christians claim Jesus never laughed. They have painted an image of him with a sorrowful, somber face. That cannot be true. This is utterly wrong because it contradicts the basic understanding of an enlightened Jesus. For someone who has reached the ultimate consciousness, there can only be immense joy. Such a person's life becomes a song, a dance. It carries the quality of flowers and stars. Such a life cannot be sorrowful. Why would he be sad? This is his Father's world. This is God's world. Why would he be sad? He has returned home. When else should he be happy? If you are not happy knowing God, then no other possibility for happiness exists. Jesus looks too sad. He has been depicted with a sorrowful face, as a savior, as though burdened with the sins of humanity. Christians say he bears your burdens. He does not bear your burdens. He simply forgives you. What a misconception it is to think that Jesus carries your burdens. If those burdens are not worth anything, why would he carry them? And if they are valuable, why would he take them away from you? Instead, he would add more to your life. So, he does not carry anyone's burdens. He simply helps people let go of them, because you are holding on to them, clinging to them, and they have no value. When he says you are forgiven, he means, forget all your sorrows and all your darkness. This is your Father's world, full of compassion, full of love. How can love punish you? How can love throw you into hell? How can love torment you? God is not a cruel being. And then Christians talk about resurrection. The entire life of Jesus hinges on three things. First, a virgin birth. Second, a life devoid of laughter, monotonous and sorrowful with miracles. And third, resurrection. These seem to be the three key points for them, but all three are meaningless because they miss the true essence. They have missed the real Jesus. This is the story Christians have constructed around Jesus. Because of this story, they have missed the real Jesus. I want to tell you that he was a real human being, flesh and blood. He lived as a human being, and he enjoyed being human. He experienced all aspects of human life, and yet he was God. Jesus Christ is both Jesus and Christ. He is Christ within Jesus and Jesus within Christ. He is the meeting point of two worlds where the opposites of existence merge. From this merging comes the beauty and ecstasy of Jesus. Ecstasy always arises when two opposites meet. The greater the polarity, the greater the ecstasy. This is why, when making love, people often experience a profound sense of bliss. It is the meeting of two opposites. Yet these are not great opposites, for man and woman are not truly distant from each other, not too far but also not too close. When they meet and fall in love, both experience a state of rapture, an ultimate bliss, as they dissolve into each other and their egos vanish. Boundaries disappear. They overlap, dissolve into one another. Ordinary worries lose their significance in this moment of ecstasy. How does this supreme peak of ecstasy arise? It is the meeting of two opposites. What happens when Jesus meets Christ? When humanity meets divinity? These are immense opposites, the finite encountering the infinite. This meeting is the ultimate celebration. Surely Jesus must have felt immense joy. Because of the Christian portrayals, their ideals, he appears sorrowful. But surely, he must have been a person of profound joy, overflowing with bliss. Could it be otherwise when light has arisen within? When that happens, joy must manifest outwardly. They arise together. When the house is lit from within, even with the windows closed, a traveler can see light streaming through the curtains, the cracks in the doors. That is joy. When light emerges from within, people can sense something precious radiating outward. That is the definition of ecstasy, the meeting of opposites. EP1, EP2. An ordinary person is like someone asleep, unaware of who they are. When the energy of God touches them, when they are embraced by it, when they receive it, when that vibrant energy enters them, ecstasy arises. Ecstasy arises only when we reconcile the mundane and the divine, mud with sunlight, earth with sky, body with soul. Only then, when the sunlight touches the mud, does the lotus bloom, the flower of ecstasy. Until reality is miraculous as it truly is, we remain frozen. Human beings, if purely human, are frozen beings. And you must know too that God, if purely God, is also frozen. Thus, it is not only you seeking God, God is also seeking you. It is not only you who feel sorrow in the absence of God, God too feels sorrow in your absence. And when you meet God, when God meets you, it is not only your ecstasy, it is God's ecstasy as well. The entire existence rejoices. Whenever a human becomes Jesus or Buddha, the whole existence dances, the whole existence rejoices, utterly exhilarated. The meeting is the dissolving of separations. To think of yourself merely as human is to perpetuate separation. And unless you dissolve the walls of division you have built around yourself, that I am human, God cannot enter you. You must completely break free from all confines, all boundaries, the boundaries of being Hindu, Christian, human, rich, poor, educated, uneducated, white, black, Brahmin, or untouchable. All these boundaries must be eradicated. Only in their eradication can eternity enter your world. Within the dark night of your soul lies light, abundant light. And suddenly, you are no longer the same. Let me say this again. God is no longer the same either. God has never been so rich as after Christ. God has never been so rich as after Buddha. God is enriched when you meet Him because you pour into Him. I know you possess only a small amount of energy, but oceans are made of countless small drops continuously flowing in. Streams flow into the ocean and create it. A single stream cannot make an ocean, but countless streams flowing endlessly form it. God grows richer each day because a stream, a river flows in, bringing new life, new vibrations. God is always evolving. God is not a static being. God evolves with each moment. The meeting is the dissolving of boundaries, the erasing of divisions, the overlapping, the merging into one another. This is called faith, trust, or surrender. At the absolute point of surrender, life begins anew, and we return to God, to Tao, or Dhamma, to the wholeness of the free-flowing stream. God is wholeness, the totality of the free-flowing stream. God is not a being. We return to our pure essence only when we are entirely free and whole. In this state, all is well, all is right. In yoga, they call this nada, a state of harmony, unity. When man dissolves into God and the conflict between man and God vanishes, nada arises, harmony arises, what Heraclitus called the hidden harmony. Nada is inner balance, harmony, rhythm. You are out of rhythm, out of harmony with God, and this is your misery. Jesus is in rhythm with God, and this is His joy. If Jesus were miserable, sorrowful, what would be the difference between you and Him? That difference is that He understands you. He has compassion for you, but He is utterly joyful Himself. In fact, it is because He is utterly joyful that He feels pity for you, has compassion for you. He wants you to share this joy, and He knows it is yours. You need only ask for it. Thus, He says, ask, and you will receive. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened. Jesus did not die on the cross. It takes at least 48 hours for someone to die on the Jewish cross. There are even cases where people survive for 6 days on the cross. Since Jesus was taken down from the cross after only 6 hours, it is impossible for Him to have died there. It was actually a wealthy admirer and Pontius Pilate who conspired to crucify Jesus late on Friday, because on Saturday the Jews would cease all activity. It was the Sabbath, and no work was allowed. By Friday evening, everything had to stop. In this conspiracy, Jesus would be crucified late in the afternoon, and before the dawn of the next day, He would be taken down. He may have fallen unconscious due to significant blood loss, but he did not die. He was then placed in a cave, and before the Sabbath ended, the Jews would have hung him back on the cross. But Jesus' disciples stole his body. His tomb was found empty because he had been removed from Judea soon after. Once he recovered and regained his health, he went to India and lived a long life, 112 years, in Kashmir. There is an extraordinary coincidence. The prophet Moses also passed away in Kashmir, and so did Jesus. I have seen the tombs of both. These two tombs are unique because they are the only ones not oriented toward Mecca. Muslims build their graves with the head pointing toward Mecca, so all Muslim graves worldwide face Mecca, and Kashmir is a Muslim region. Yet these two graves do not face Mecca, and the inscriptions on the tombs are in Hebrew, a language that would not appear on a Muslim grave since Hebrew is not their language. The name of Jesus is written in the Jewish way, Joshua. Jesus is the Christian adaptation of his Jewish name. Clearly, this tomb belongs to Jesus. Both tombs have been cared for by a family living in Pahalgam, the only family to have looked after these graves for centuries. They are Jewish. They remain Jewish even today, and I had to ask them to read the inscriptions on the graves for me. Moses came to Kashmir to find a group of Jews who had gone missing on their journey from Egypt to Jerusalem. Upon reaching Jerusalem, he feared that the entire group had been lost in the desert. After settling in Jerusalem, he began searching and discovered that those people were living in Kashmir. The people of Kashmir are essentially Jews who were later forcibly converted to Islam. Moses lived among them and passed away there. Jesus also went to Kashmir because it was said that Moses had found the lost group there. The doors to Judea were closed. He would have been crucified again. And the only place he could find people who shared his language and beliefs, where he was no longer a stranger, was Kashmir. He lived there with a few close friends and followers in Pahalgam. Pahalgam was named after Jesus because he called himself the Shepherd. Pahalgam means the town of the shepherd. It was a small group of Jesus and his companions living near the tomb of their ancestor and the founder of their tradition, Moses. However, the followers who remained in Judea created the story of resurrection. There is no way to prove it. They also could not produce Jesus. If he had resurrected, where was he? Nor could they explain what had happened. They claimed a large stone was placed at the entrance of his tomb to guard his body, and a Roman soldier kept watch day and night to ensure no one could move the stone and take his body. But from the start, Pontius Pilate opposed crucifying Jesus. He saw no guilt in him. He considered Jesus' ideas to be strange but not harmful. What harm did they cause? If someone calls himself the Son of God, let him enjoy that belief. Why be troubled by it? If someone claims to be the Savior, bringing God's message, listen if you wish or don't. There's no need to crucify anyone for that. Some form of resurrection likely did occur, but it is certain that Jesus did not die on the cross, nor in the cave where he was placed. He lived a long life. Even today, people rely on miracles to prove one religion superior to another. Buddha never walked on water. Mahavira never raised the dead. Krishna didn't heal the sick with a touch, and Muhammad didn't turn water into wine. EP 1. EP 2. Scholars and debaters have created doctrines and beliefs. They have crafted idol worship. From the body of a devout person, they build a cult. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, and I believe he had extraordinary insight, though he was considered mad at times, for sometimes madness accompanies sharp intellect, that the first and last Christian died on the cross 2,000 years ago. Since then, there has not been a single Christian. Jesus was the only Christian, although he never knew the term Christian. He only knew Aramaic, his spoken language, and a little formal Hebrew. But he did not know Greek. The word Christ is Greek, and Christian comes from Christ. Throughout his life, Jesus never heard the word Christ or Christian. In Hebrew, Christ translates to Messiah, so Jesus was familiar with Messiah. But it is strange that when Jesus was alive, vibrant, willing to share and reveal everything he had, people avoided him. After he was gone, the priests did not miss their chance. The priests immediately gathered around the bodies of Buddha, Jesus, Lao Tzu, and created doctrines. If Jesus were to return today, he would be crucified again because he would disrupt the business of many. Things are running smoothly. Everything is in order. People are content, and suddenly, this man Jesus appears, disturbing minds, provoking thought, questioning and searching. An institution cannot tolerate such a person because if you begin searching, you will eventually discover that the institution is built on a corpse. Jesus promised in the Bible, "I will return," but I assure you he will not. Once was enough. Who would want to be crucified again? And this time, it would not even have the consolation that his executioners were Jews, rigid in their orthodoxy, unable to grasp the revolution he brought. This time, even that consolation would be gone. The ones to crucify him would be his own followers. The last time Jesus prayed to God, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." What would he say now? He would have to pray, "Forgive them, for they know exactly what they are doing." And yet they would do it. Religion, as it is practiced, has become business, a religious business. It speaks with a religious voice but lacks experience. True religion is rebellion because it begins by challenging tradition. Only two types of people exist: the ignorant masses who uphold tradition, and the lone individuals like Jesus, Buddha, or Mahavira. These individuals are solitary. Few understand their words, and their messages are so foreign that only the heart can comprehend them. Jesus was misunderstood, Socrates was misunderstood, and Al-Hallaj Mansur was misunderstood. Whenever there is a true believer, misunderstanding arises. But once they die, everything settles. Once they die, the priests create a new business.